Now, I'm a Hindu. Hinduism is most probably among the most ancient living religions on earth. And Hinduism is a part of the Dharmic group of religions, which also includes Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. In many ways, our worldview is fundamentally different from the Abrahamic group of religions. The Abrahamic group, as you all know, is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And could be argued that Western atheism, which emerged as a reaction to the Abrahamic religions, also has many of the features of Abrahamic religions. So, how is our worldview, the Dharmic? One of the key things is we don't see the world in binaries, good, evil, black, white. We don't see the world that way. We see it in. So how do we answer this question? The question itself is incomplete. According to Hindu philosophy, anything that has a beginning and an end is temporary and hence an illusion. The Sanskrit word for it is Maya. So therefore, everything, including the universe, because it does have an end date, is an illusion, which makes this entire debate itself infructuous. But there's a second concept on reality of Hinduism that I'm more interested in. It says that anything that has a purpose and function is real, even if it. Now, let me explain the second concept a bit more. We've all heard of Carl Sagan had said that all our bodies are made up of water, calcium, and organic molecules. Now, if you pick an amount of water, calcium, and organic molecules of the right proportion and throw it under a bus, nothing will change. Nothing will happen to the bus. But I'm not about to jump under a bus, very obviously, right? Even though my body is made up of that exact proportion of elements that Carl Sagan. Why? Because I'm not exactly just the elements that be. There's something extra in me. And that something extra gives purpose to the elements that be. Therefore, I have a purpose. Therefore, I'm not an illusion. That's the way it is with me. That's the way it is with us. And that is the way it is. If God has. So is the real question perhaps not whether God has a purpose? Is the real question that why does the West not feel a need for the purpose of God anymore? Or to calibrate a bit, why do most Westerners not feel the need for God anymore? The answer for that is in the torturedship that Abrahamic religions have with science, or more broadly, any truth that is in conflict with it can be called. And that sets up that magnificent duel, right? Abrahamics and God on the one side and the other. And you have to decide. How does Hinduism see this debate? Well, first of all, Hinduism does not have a doctrinal concept. So there is no scientific truth that I have to deny to prove that it's simply the concept of. But more, Hinduism has a different relationship. Let me explain that through, taking you to the book of Genesis. And all of you are aware of the, right? Broadly, what's God, Adam and Eve, because they ate from the forbidden fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Knows that? And most Abrahamic religious scholars say that good and evil were. So therefore, essentially, Adam and Eve were punished because they ate from the tree of the knowledge. Now, I'm not deriding this. Knowledge, if you're not prepared for it, is often a path to unhappiness and destruction. And it can be argued that you see a lot of that in the West today. So, if your purpose is primarily to just simply be happy, then maybe it's a good idea to avoid knowledge. Innocence is bliss, right? It's a fair call, right? Just remain innocent, remain happy. How does Hinduism see the relationship with knowledge? Hindu philosophy does acknowledge the risks of knowledge, but still tells us to go for it. To put it in terms that you may understand, Hindus wouldn't be told, don't eat that apple. In fact, we would be told, go for the entire freaking tree. But what we would also be told that before you go for that tree, Prepare yourself so that you can handle that knowledge. This is essentially the concept of karma and dharma. Learn, evolve, so that you can handle that knowledge, and then learn some more. And keep learning till you learn everything that there is to learn, till you have consumed that entire tree. Then you become God. You attain Nirvana. I'm sure that's a term that most of you would have heard of, right? Nirvana. This is what the concept of Nirvana is. You keep growing, keep learning, keep evolving, till you learn everything that there is to know. And then you become divine, because you attain Nirvana. Now, from this philosophical construct, what is the purpose of God? God is not supposed to be a strict father who keeps you in line for your own happiness. No. In the dharmic way, in the Hindu way, God is supposed to be like a witness or a guide who guides you on how to acquire knowledge without messing up your own life. Which is why you'll find that it's very, very common in India to be religious and scientific at the same time. How many of you read about the Indian space scientists who sent a probe to the moon? Everyone's aware of that? Yeah, we sent a probe to the moon. The cost of that project was cheaper than a Hollywood movie on that project, right? But the scientists, and many don't know this, that the scientists who prepared that probe and that rocket, before launch, they took the components of that rocket to a temple to pray to it. They saw no contradiction in it. Unlike Western atheists who very often feel the deep need to insult religion to prove their scientific temper. In the Hindu way, the divine can be male, female, or transgender, and allows, even expects human beings to question him or her, as Lord Krishna did in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm primarily an author. In the books that I write, I openly criticize and question the caste system. I write of powerful women. I have gay and transgender characters in my books. My books, by God's grace, actually sell in reasonably high numbers. You won't find any controversy around me. Because in the Hindu way, there is an openness to multiple truths. There is an openness to multiple paths to the divine. If I may complete, please. In some ways, then, this debate is similar to the debate that's taking place over artificial intelligence. From what I have read, not that I know Elon Musk personally, but from what I have read, apparently, Elon Musk is concerned about the risks of AI and is therefore hesitating. Whereas Sam Altman is, going all guns blazing, wants to forge ahead, right? In the Hindu way, the opportunity of AI would be seen, but the risks of it would also be acknowledged, right? So perhaps, it cannot be denied that AI almost has the power of God. Do we have the ability to wield that power? Do our societies have the ability to handle the consequences of something like this? Everyone knows what this gesture is? Yeah, it's namaste. Most Westerners erroneously translate namaste to mean hello. That's not the actual meaning. In Sanskrit, namaste means I bow to the divine within you. Now, this is a statement of humility. I'm bowing. But it's also a challenge to you. Discover the divine within you. That is the challenge that Hinduism puts up. If I may just complete, I'm almost at the end, right? If you find purpose, you will discover that God exists within you. And your task over this life and multiple lives is to grow, evolve, learn some more, and become God. God is not a delusion because you are God. You are a potential God. You are all potential gods. You just don't know it yet. What you have to do is find your purpose, and you will discover that you and God are in fact very real. And that's it.